What's up, y'all? It's your boy Bishop the DJ. Before I get into what I'm going to get into, first of all, please like and subscribe to this video. Subscribe to the channel. Me and my brother, Son Brave, are doing big things with this, with our podcast, like a mixtape, True OG series. I'm doing my thing with the sneaker reviews and stuff, and I'm going to get back to that. But what I want to talk about, first of all, I want to shout out local rapper from Baltimore, goes by the name of Young Moose. So shout out to Young Moose, who just been awarded $300K for the whole situation with the gun trace task force down here in Baltimore. I know a lot of y'all been watching the show, We Own the City. And those bitches, you know what I'm saying, they did my man dirty. I actually had 3 run-ins with them clowns. 3 that I remember very well. I'm gonna talk about them, but before I get there, I guess I can consider myself lucky because the shit that I went through ain't half of the shit that Moose went through. I mean, I ain't get drugs planted on me. They wait till you hear my story though. They did me pretty dirty. Luckily, I never crossed over as far as getting arrested by them clowns, but they played games with me. But yeah, man, they was fucking with Moose for a minute. I remember hearing the stories about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Just harassing homeboy and shit, especially over in that part of East Baltimore. Over there. I lived on Milton Avenue, so that's like right around there by Monument Street. Milton and McElderly was where I lived at, but like I said, it's walking distance. Everybody from Baltimore know the whole strip, Monument Street. That's the hood for real, East Baltimore. And Moose is from that area. You know what I'm saying? He was doing this thing for a minute. I remember hearing him. My son Ant know him. I met him a few times. He's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? And no matter whatever they allegedly saying he was doing in the street, homeboy was rapping and getting his money. I know he was linked up with Boosie and doing his thing. I mean, he was really doing his thing down there. So they fucked him. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, my son is incarcerated and he's been sitting there waiting on his court date since October. My son got arrested October 2018, and when he first got up in there, Moose was still in there. From what I was told, for that bullshit when they was they planted drugs on him. I know Moose's father got a store around there in that area, and I know they used to come in there and harass his father and fuck with his peoples all the time and shit. It's like they had a personal vendetta, and that's the part that I can relate to because again, Herschel was the one that everybody knows, but the guy that John Bernthal played, I think I'm saying his name right, excuse me if I'm not, but the actor from The Walking Dead and the guy that played the Punisher. I can't remember that particular cop's name, but the real life one, that's the one that actually had an issue with me. So I can kind of relate to Moose when he was talking about how they was like just fucking with him, just to be fucking with him because they felt like they could. I had 3 incidents with the gun trace task force, just riding around fucking with people. Nothing, you know what I mean, not doing nothing wrong. I mean, I'm sure it was niggas out there they could have been fucking with, but for whatever reason, I got a mouth on me. So, you know what I mean, me and my smart mouth, if you doing something, if you violating my rights, I'm going to speak up. And I remember the first time I ran into these dudes. Now, Herschel, I think, is the tall one. Never had no real personal issue with him per se, but the short one, I can't remember his name. Y'all, if you watch the show, y'all know I haven't been out in the streets in years, so I don't know this guy like that off the top of my head. But I remember my oldest son at the time and my youngest son's oldest brother. Long story, but I was with my youngest son's mother at the time, and she had another son. His name was Kieran. I had both of them out in the backyard, just cleaning the backyard and shit. It was early in the afternoon. So I remember I was walking up the alley while they were out there cleaning up the backyard. When I got to the top of the block, I was yelling down at the alley for the boys to put the trash cans out in the alley because, you know, it hadn't to be trash day or whatever. So I said, yo, all right, put the trash cans out in the alley by the time I get back. And as I'm saying this, I'm standing at the top of the alley, like pointing down, talking to him. Herschel and his boys riding down McElderly. They see that shit and they just pulls up on the curb. Hop out the car. So the short one, the one that got the 18 years for real, he's talking big shit. What you doing? You hiding the drug stash? So I'm looking at him like, bro, I'm talking to my fucking kids, man. I'm telling them to take the trash out. So I'm pointing down the alley to where my kids was at. And they, they looking up the alley like, what the fuck? So when I'm pointing down the alley, put your hands down. Put your hands down. Da, 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 da. So they talking shit. They all surrounding me like they get ready to jump me. So he was like, you got ID? So I was like, yeah, I got the ID, but you know what I mean? What the fuck I need to show you my ID for? I ain't doing nothing wrong. So we going back and forth and shit. So I was like, you know what? To make this shit go quick, I'm gonna show y'all my ID because I want y'all to get the fuck out my face. The little short dude talking big shit. And I'm talking big shit right back to him. So one of the black cops, he go and check, I guess to make sure I ain't had no warrants or whatever. And come back to the car, give me my shit back. So he was like, all right, man, you can go. So, me in my mouth, I'm like, yeah, I know I could go. I could have went from the beginning, but I just did that to get y'all the fuck out my face. So the little short one, they walking back to the car as I said that, and as he stopped me, he was like, what you say? I was like, you heard me? You wasting time fucking with me when you could be fucking with some real motherfucking killers and motherfucking criminals out there. You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got nothing better to do than to fuck with me. So he got back up at my face. So I looked at him. I said, what you want me to do? Apologize? And he just shook his head. You know what? You ain't worth it. Fuck this shit. So that's exactly how he said it. So he get in the car. They pull off. Boom. All right. Boom. So every time I would see them in the neighborhood, they always would ride around. He always gave me that dirty look, like he was gonna jump out and do something. I give him the look right back, and that was it. So it was another situation. It was maybe about a month after that. My oldest son, I'm taking him around to go get him a pair of kicks from the sneaker spot. It's called Shoe City. It's around the corner on Monument Street. So, I DJ'd at the strip club. So most of my money that I usually have is a bunch of, it's big. It looked like I'm hustling if I just poured out all this money because I got a bunch of 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s, big ass knot. In this particular day, I had about like $600-700 and just loose change, 20s, 10s, 5s, whatever. I didn't really had it organized. I took my son around there to buy a pair of Jordans. So as we walking back, we get to Monument Street, we make a right on Patterson Park and we walk up. So when we get to McElderly, we cut down. So it's like summertime, so it's hot as fuck outside or whatever. This happened right after he got out of school. So McElderly, a hot block. You know what I'm saying? Niggas out there hustling, doing their thing, whatever. Everybody out. So we get in the middle of we turn down the block. They pulls up on me again. Jump out on me and my son this time. So I'm looking at him. I said, damn, so what the fuck now you gonna fuck with me when I got my kid with me? I said, well, you can't walk down the street. It's illegal for a father and son to walk down the street. Routine, what do you say, routine check or some shit? I said, I ain't never heard no routine check. So they going over there searching my son, and I'm looking, I was like, just do what they tell you, because they not gonna leave. So he checking me, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I said, look, before you even go there, I got a bunch of money on me, a hell of a lot of money on me. So he pulling out all my money. And then mind you, summertime, it's hot outside, niggas, everybody standing around looking. He pulls all the money out. Oh, shit. Business must be good for you today, huh? So I looked at me and my smart mouth. I said, yeah, business is good where I work at. I work at a strip club. So they all started laughing. So he gonna say, oh, what you a stripper? I said, no, I'm the DJ there. So he looking at me, he said, yeah, I don't believe that. I said, matter of fact, can I go in my wallet and give you I got a business card. My boss's information is on there. You can call him if you want. So he had me and my son sitting there for about 20 minutes. They actually got on the phone and I was working at a spot called Hustler Club at the time. So they looked on there and got the number. He called down there, he talked to my general manager. It was a white guy named Hal. Hal must have told him what was up. He comes back over, it's your lucky day. So he gives me my money back. He's like, all right, man, fuck it, go ahead, you can go. I was like, I already knew I could go. I wasn't doing nothing. So I said, that's fucked up what you just did, though. Now you set me up for failure. So he gonna holler, how you figure that? So I'm like, yo, you got all these niggas standing around and they seen you pull out all this fucking money and you gonna tell me walk. As soon as I bend the corner, a nigga gonna have a gun in my face trying to rob me. So he gonna holler, well, I think you better hurry up and walk then. That's the second incident. The third incident really wasn't so much, it was bullshit. It was about maybe a couple months into this, towards the end of the summer. I never forget this particular day. This was actually funny. I'm sitting on the steps, me and my son's mother at the time. It was late. We sitting out there talking. I'm smoking a Black and Mild cigar. She just got finished smoking the blunt. So she went to go step in the house. I was finishing up the Black and Mild. These motherfuckers come screeching down the block again. This time it was Herschel that hopped out the car. When he hopped out the car, jumped back a little bit. I guess he realized I was smoking them Black and Mild. When he realized that he gonna look at me and point, oh, my bad, bust out laughing and get back in the car and shit. And they all laughing at me and shit. And I'm sitting there mad as fuck, like, goddamn, really? Like, you gonna play games with me like that? That was it. I ain't had no more problems out of them after that shit. But just to go to show you how much of an asshole these cops were. And the little short one. Not so much Herschel. I know Herschel was an asshole, but that was the only time I had a actual interaction with Herschel, the way he jumped out the car, because he acted like he was getting ready to jump out and tackle me. Mind you, I'm sitting on my steps, smoking my fucking cigar and shit. That was it. After that, I ain't had no problems out of. But if you watch the show, you can see a lot of people dealt with these motherfuckers. And apparently, they've been all over Baltimore. I always thought they were just... I didn't even know they were part of the Gun Trace Task Force. I heard about it, but I didn't know that was them. Now, I know a couple years before that, it was two, what was those cops' names? King and Murray. Anybody from Baltimore that's watching this video, y'all know about King and Murray. Now, I got robbed by them niggas, and I was hustling at the time. I thought they was part of the Gun Trace Task Force, but I found out later on they wasn't. But they were associated, whether you from Baltimore or not. If y'all remember a while back when the cats from Baltimore made their DVD called Stop Snitching, dudes mentioned them on that DVD. They was two undercover cops that used to go around robbing drug dealers and shit. And at the time, I was selling drugs, and they robbed me. They got me for $700 for real. Didn't even lock my mans up. They had two of my workers, and was talking like they was gonna run up in my house for real, but they didn't. They ended up taking two of my workers down to the Western District and then letting them go, but they kept the money. So just a little something about how we was always dealing with these cops. And then at the time, when I found out about the Gun Trace Task Force, I actually thought that King and Murray was part of that, because after that whole little situation when I was hanging around in that neighborhood, I was living over in Gilmore Homes. That's the area where Freddie Gray from. I used to live in them projects, and I thought they was part of the Gun Trace Task Force, the way they was running around for real. I didn't know. But I found out later on that they wasn't, but they ended up getting locked up too. But it's just the type of shit that we do. I'm sure y'all probably know about cops in the city where y'all from. They all over New York for real. So I know if my New York nigga, especially Brooklyn, y'all can... When I lived in New York, them cops in Brooklyn were... damn near on the same level, if not worse, because they used to run around robbing people, but they didn't show their badges. They used to act like stick-up kids. I remember they used to come over Ceflo a lot. They bent the corner. Used to remember them hoodies that we used to wear in New York, the Champion Conehead joints. They even had them joints on and pull the string down, and they was supposed to have their badges out, but they used to always run up. They used to be like 7, 8 deep. That's how you knew they was fucking cops, because sticker boys don't run up on you and just get you for, I say a couple dollars, but if you got like $3, $4 grand on you, what the fuck 6, 7 cops gonna do with $3, $4 grand for real? But they used to always do that shit in New York a lot. So a lot of my Brownsville niggas, Brooklyn, y'all know what I'm talking about. They do that. They used to do that a lot. I don't know if they still do, because it's been a long time since I've been up there. But just touching on how how these corrupt cops be out here fucking with niggas and shit. And I'm sure Moose ain't the only rapper in the urban city that cops been fucking with. Moose just had a payday. I think, honestly, he should have got more than that. He should have got a mil, to be honest with you. Because I know shit they was doing was fucking up a lot of business for him. And, he was losing a lot of money on that shit. I remember one time, I don't know if it was in Baltimore, I think it had to have been in Baltimore. I know it was a show that he was supposed to do. And correct me if I'm wrong, if y'all know about this in the comments, but I know they locked him up either before the show or during the show, some shit like that. They fucked up his money. Now, Herschel was the one doing that shit from what I was told. A lot of reports and shit that I was reading, they said Herschel was fucking up their money for that man. So, I mean, shit, 300K ain't no chump change. That's still some good money. So, once again, shout out to Young Moose. If you watching this, I doubt it, but holler at me down at the wrist. I'm still there. Yeah, I think he should have got more, but still, that's a big win for him, because they was playing, you know what I mean? And then, you know, he's a street rapper, so he talk about shit that go on in the neighborhood. So when that happened, I know a lot of people was watching that shit on the news, was like, yeah, you know what I mean? You know, you already know the coalition between drugs and hip hop, you know, the streets and hip hop, and they trying to put two and two together, and they made him look like, you know, just another thug that's out there rapping, making money, but that wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying? So once again, third time, shout out to Young Moose for winning that settlement. Now the only problem I have with that is that taxpayer money that they giving back, because I seriously doubt that the FOP paying that money out, you know what I'm saying, fraternal order police, they not kicking that shit out. So where the 300K coming from? If it's coming from the city, then that's a loss on us, but still, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? That's a win for him regardless. So gotta be careful when you're in the hood and you doing your thing and you beefing with these goofy ass cops, because they gonna do whatever they can to fuck your shit all up. Just like Herschel and the whole entire Gun Trace Task Force. Again, y'all watch the show. My only problem with the show, I actually like it, but the last episode I really didn't like, because that one detective, I don't believe that he committed any suicide at all. Now, if you from Baltimore, y'all been watching that now. I really got into it real heavy when I started seeing that shit on the news. And when they said that he committed suicide, anybody from the streets, anybody with common sense, know that was a hit. We all knew that shit. Everyday citizens knew that shit was a hit. And I'm going to continue to say that shit was a hit. I believe his family think the same thing, but I'm not going to dwell on that too much. Because I'm gonna pay respects to that man and his family. So, yeah, shout out to Moose. Hopefully, Moose, you take that money, get the fuck out of Baltimore for real, and just expand on your career. And I hope you really, really fucking blow, because Shorty is nice. It's not my type of hip hop, but I actually like him. He's one of the few rappers of today that I actually fuck with. I like him, and I hope he blow, and I hope he don't fuck that money up. You know what I'm saying? That was a huge win, and they need to have this. It should be more talked about in mainstream hip hop, especially with that, you know, with all this shit with Young Thug, Gunna, and all them, and all the shit that's going on with them. I mean, that's a W for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? To play these fucking games and do all that they can to harass us, that's a win. I just thought I'd talk about it. My brother spoke on it briefly on the podcast, so I just thought I'd make a video talking about that shit. The Gun Trace Task Force, so those niggas is bitches, straight bitches. And if you dealing with that type of shit in your city and your hood, speak on that shit. Cause they making it hard for them. They jealous. You know how that shit is. They jealous of niggas. And I pray for Young Thug and Gunna. I don't think it's going. It ain't looking too good, but it's the Rico. I mean, fucking Mafia got taken down from, you know, when they threw that shit on them. So who knows how this shit gonna end for them dudes. I just wanted to say that. Just getting in from work. It's a long work night. Fuck you, Joe Buttons. But the shit you said about them strippers, man, leave them girls alone, man. My brother was right. He need to watch who he pick on and shit. But that's something we're gonna talk about another time. I'm gonna see how I'm gonna pay attention to it, because I'm gonna see how they gonna handle that shit. Hopefully these strippers come back and just start blasting on him, start putting some of his business out there, because I know he got some shit in his closet he don't want out there. Anyway, it's your boy Bishop the DJ. Listen to that new mix that I just posted. Peace out, y'all.